What's going on, everybody? This is Soulful, bringing you guys a new video to the SoulfulSax Gaming channel. Today we are playing a little bit of City Skylines. I actually am kind of excited. Recently, this game released a new update for mass transit for console. So in this particular video, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're actually going to work on some better transportation for the goods. As you just see, we have a very large area where we have a lot of industrial and it's a lot of forestry is the actual industry that we're basically running in this particular city. And we have quite a bit of outsourcing ways to be able to get a lot of that material off the actual map, but it's really conjumbled. As you can see, there's two cargo hubs right there. One on each side of that main road, and I need a better way of being able to transport goods. So I always thought that, this was a large area here on this end of the map, of this square basically, I wanted to go ahead and put in a new cargo hub. A lot of issues that I've been noticing when I actually run the game and I pay attention to it, we have a lot of regional traffic that comes in, people that come in from the regional area. So those regional trains are causing like a bottleneck in that large area where we have a lot of train tracks, and we want to go ahead and kind of space that out. I want to put in some new passenger stations so that way we can divvy up a lot of that actual regional traffic, as well make sure we can add in some more cargo hubs so we can get a lot of these goods moved off the actual map itself. So in this particular video, this is actually a time lapse of me playing the game. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through what my idea was to kind of get a new transportation hub basically created for trains, or train hub, basically a new train hub over here on this end. So right now what I'm doing, I'm actually just putting down a basic main road so that way we can start a layout of where we want to kind of, or mostly just a grid, I guess, of where we want most of the train areas to go. Alright, so right here, this is where I started to add in the basic passenger train stations. I wanted to go ahead and get some of them in here, a couple of them, one so that way incoming regional traffic can stop at one stop, and then another stop if they decide to go ahead and go into the main city, that would actually transfer over into the actual main hub of all the traffic that we have for our city. So I didn't want all that regional traffic, basically overwhelming the track system. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and kind of get this organized right here. These are actually, the that you're noticing is actually part of the new mass transit mod that they added, which is absolutely wonderful. It makes it so much easier to be able to do this layout for the grid. If I had to do this by hand, a lot of the curves that you're going to see me design will not come out the way that they did. So because of the new, what they call road guidelines, it made it so much more easier, and it definitely made me a lot more happier. They've actually had this mod on PC for quite a while, but now that it finally has come to console, definitely it's very useful. I used it. I see people use the guidelines all the time, and I was wondering, when are we going to ever get those for console? So now that that mod has been added, definitely is a really great improvement. And as you can see, extremely more easier for me to be able to get those roads in, get the two train stations directly right next to each other. The next idea that I'm going to go ahead and do is I want to make sure that traffic can be able to transfer from one station to the other if they decide that they want to go into the city, and this makes it a lot easier. I'm going to go ahead and actually put in a walking path, so that's what I'm actually looking for in the I'm looking for the walking paths because I haven't used it that much in the gameplay, and it has actually been quite a while since I've made a City Skylines video. Mainly the reason why I decided I wanted to do this was because the new mass transit DLC was added to the game, and that definitely was something I was really looking forward to. So now we're getting this working path in. I'll do that right here. Alright, and that is the path completed. It actually worked out perfectly. I know it looks kind of weird with it being so high above, but at the time when I was designing the footpath, the walking path basically, I didn't know if I was going to run the trains underneath it as of yet. So that's why I wanted to make sure there was enough room underneath the actual walking path, so that way we can still extend the train lines if that's needed. Now right here, this is where I am actually planning out where I want to put the new cargo hubs. Initially when I started this, I was only going to put in 2, but then I'm going to make a decision to change the direction of which way they're actually facing, because the way I have them right now, I was looking at the way the trains are going to be moving on the track. I didn't want it to actually have a whole bunch of different twists and turns for them to be able to make it to the cargo hubs. Also, I still have to make sure that, you know, the goods that are being transferred over are able to move up and down without causing additional traffic to the city itself. So I decided to make a change of, you know, turning them from being vertical to horizontal, and that actually made it a lot more easier on the actual flow of the traffic, as well as getting the train hubs to move in. And I was even able to add in an extra 2, so you're going to see that coming up in a few seconds. Okay, so this is where I decided to change my mind. Seeing it from this angle, it looks a lot more easier for the tracks to be able to run straight up and then intersect with all the original running tracks that we have already set up on the actual map. So this made it a lot more easier, and like I said, it allows us to be able to get in a total of 4 cargo hubs, which made it so much more fluent for the traffic and everything to be able to flow. And I thought this was a better decision to making it look a little bit more better, you know. So I'm just deleting the old track now that I've kind of decided the direction of where we want everything to kind of go. And alright, this is where we get our 4 train hubs in. So basically how the train hubs are going to work, two train hubs basically work to bring in goods from the regional trains, the regional cargo trains, and then we also have two hubs that basically go in one direction and another two hubs that go in another direction. So trains that will be able to transport goods out to the dock will be on one end, and then trains that are transferring goods out to the other direction, to the north of the map, that is also going to be situated on the second side. So right here we're going to go ahead and reconnect now the passenger trains, so that way we can get that regional traffic in. And this is where I mean how the road guidelines that mass transit brought in, it's going to make it so much easier to make this curve. And you're going to see it right here. I have to kind of get the right angle when I was trying to figure it out. Delete. See, now you get the guideline. Perfect curve. If I had to do that by hand before, which as you can see, a lot of my roads are really like ugly. I tried to do curves and it just didn't work. So with the road guidelines, it makes it so much easier. Alright, so right here I'm actually trying to run a track on the opposite side of the road, so that way cargo trains can be able to run down that end of the track that brings in goods from the outside of the area. And when I tried to run it straight, for some reason the game wouldn't make the actual track straight. It had that curve in it, and I knew it was going to mess it up on the long term on the other end. So we start from this end, go up first, connect the cargo hubs, and then we figure it out better later. Now if you guys, as you're watching this video, if you see any opportunities where I could possibly make this a little bit better, you know, definitely go down into the comments, leave me a suggestion. I will definitely read all my comments. Definitely I will take into consideration any ideas that you all might have. Definitely I'll take a look and see if it does help with making the actual transition a lot more smoother. Believe me. See, perfect curve. Love the guidelines. So right here, it was kind of late when I was doing this. I think it was like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and it just wouldn't stay straight. So, you know, I was ready to go to sleep. I just said, okay, you're not gonna work? Fine, just stay that way. So right here, I'm actually trying to connect the other cargo hub to this same out joining track for the cargo hub itself, and it just wouldn't connect. I couldn't understand why it wouldn't work. So I had to come at it at a different angle, and then once I changed that, it allowed me to be able to connect it up. I couldn't understand it. It allowed me to turn it the other way, but it wouldn't allow me to turn it the way I wanted it to go. So I was like, okay, fine. So I went with a straight track, and it gave me a little bend, and I was like, okay, I'll use the bend. Boom. Gave me the curve I wanted. Just wouldn't allow me to use the curve tool to do it. Kind of weird. So yes, I do notice in this particular episode there is still missing water and electricity for these train hubs. Yes, I do see the blinking light indicating that. I'm really right now just trying to make sure, you know, I get the train tracks reconnected to the actual lines, so we can get something at least accomplished. and then we'll go ahead and run all the water, get everything all reorganized. So as you can see, the two trains bring in traffic and these two go out, and that's kind of the best way I can do it. See, there you go. And this way, a lot of the traffic of the goods being transferred, they can go to just two hubs, and then that traffic sends the cargo out of the map. And then if we want to bring in more goods, those goods can go into a certain hub, and that also helps with making the flow of traffic work really well in the map itself. Because I mean, if you're noticing as it's playing, a lot of the trains get bottlenecked. See how that one had to stop right there for a second? They get bottlenecked, and that's the point of why we needed to get this new train hub all situated, because I kept noticing there were like 5 or 6 or even 7 trains all stuck in one little area, and I was like, okay, we got to get this out. So right here I'm actually trying to figure out a way to connect these roads up. In this episode we are not going to get that completed, but in the next episode we are definitely going to go ahead and figure out a way to be able to connect all these roads up together. But definitely right here I'm going to go ahead and let this particular first episode of the time lapse of the new train hub add-on end. Definitely I hope you guys are enjoying this video. Definitely if you do, go ahead and hit that like button. Again, feel free to go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section if you have any ideas or suggestions. I'm always down for taking those as well. Definitely follow us as well on Twitter at SoulfulSax Gaming. That is definitely going to be where we go ahead and promote when the next episode of this particular Let's Play continues. And I will catch you guys again later. Again, I am Soulful. Have a wonderful afternoon, guys.